Yeah.
Okay, so we are here to discuss the strategy for the GitLab maintained components. I want to start by saying that I believe that the goal eventually at the end of this process will be to deprecate the GitLab CI template, the GitLab maintained templates that we have inside our repository, and replace all of them with components. Okay, this is the end goal, but it will take us a while till we get there. But I think we need to start laying out our strategy, achieving that goal. And Fabio, you had a comment.
Yeah. So looking at the types kind of templates we have today, they're all GitLab maintained right now, right? So once they are in our repository, even they are related to some third-party software, since they are a part of our repository, they're maintained by us. So I just want to clarify that. But we actually have, I would say, three main sort of categories of components. GitLab components as like related to GitLab products, like SaaS, code quality, and things like that. Those eventually will be under GitLab.com/components, which will be our maintained components, official GitLab components. Then there is like some other, I call them tutorial components, but it's more kind of scaffolding, which users tend to, I think today tend to, in the pipeline editor to copy the template and then they edit. It's not actually something you include with inputs, and because they are more like you copy paste and then you customize with whatever you want. I'm not sure what we do with this, since they are not really components in per se where you provide inputs or things like that. They're more like examples, really. So we need to figure out what to do with this, but they are there today. So I feel that maybe we just should move them into the components group as is. But we need to review the UX, I think, because currently with CI templates, this UX where you can replace the content into the editor. And if we are eventually retiring CI templates, it means we are retiring this UX. So this is something we need to think about. Review UX on this side.
I think also as it relates to CI templates, I did get pinged, I think late last week. Again, it's just something I'll add here about a CI templates MR2. So I think we have to think about relatively soon as far as like what our strategy is with handling these types that come through, because they'll continue to come through until we obviously educate what the community, what we should be doing internally as well.
Yeah, which brings me to
the diff blue, like the third one that you just went to.
Yeah, discuss. It's the other point, which is we have like a partner components. I don't know, I put here like Maven or diff blue. So with this one, what we already have today in under CI templates, again, today they are classified as GitLab maintained. So I think we should still go eventually into components, what we have today, but new ones should be more like, for example, diff blue, say, okay, create your components and put in the catalog and everyone will use yours. We don't want to take ownership and maintain that. But what is already today in the repository will be maintained. That's why I'm saying, okay, what should we start to do with this? Like whatever comes new, should we stop adding, only maintain? If there's something security fixes, of course we have to go and maintain our CI templates, but at least we stop adding new ones. So this one, for example, the last part, like the third-party partner components, actually, outside of the components group, will be just owned by somebody else.
I think that, like, going back to your first point that you mentioned about like the fact that we receive a contribution and then it becomes a part of our code, meaning that we need to own it and we need to support it. I think this is one of the challenges that we have today within GitLab that the catalog should resolve. We shouldn't be the owners of those templates because we don't have the domain expertise. We don't have the time. Like, imagine tomorrow there will be like 100 partners that will come and say, we want to contribute templates. Who is going to review it? Who is going to maintain it? And from the other side, also from their side, it's also a pain. It's a pain to contribute the template to GitLab because, you know, they need to basically they need to fork the entire, you know, GitLab project, say, why do we need this? Why do we need to run all those tests? We just want to add like one thing in the pipeline that my users want to. So this is also like some kind of approach that will get us off the hook from like owning those templates that basically we have no domain expertise. And so for the GitLab maintained components that we own today, yes, we will need to convert them. And I think more important is that we'll need a commitment from the different teams that today maintain the template that they are going to maintain components. So it doesn't really matter who is going to convert them. Eventually, we need to get that commitment. And until we get that commitment, we cannot say that this is like approved and certified component yet. But let's go back to my so first of all, and secondly, I agree regarding the tutorial components. We'll just like probably move them and maybe review the UX. Regarding partners, so partners will probably be, it will be like a separate process. And this is something that I'm working in a separate track with a partner alliance to see if we can create some sort of an official process. It will probably be very similar to, it will be like something between like a community contribution and GitLab component. So it will be contributed by partners, but maybe we'll need someone to moderate that content just for the approved and certified technology partners. We'll probably need to refine that process. So this is something that I'm putting on pause until we'll have a discussion with the alliance team. But eventually we are going to have like three types. We're going to have just three types. We're going to have GitLab maintained, partner certified, and community.
Okay, but today even partner certified, it will not stop, for example, DiffBlue or Terraform from creating their own components and put them in the catalog. Yeah. Okay. So
no, I'm not sure if DiffBlue is a certified technology partner. We need to ask, but regardless, they'll need to convert it to component. Like this is the first task. The first task converted to component. Then either it will be like classified as partner certified or community. Maybe we'll put everything in community for now, and then in a point we'll say, okay, let's identify the technology partner. Let's make sure that they follow the new process. Basically, what I was thinking, and again, I need to take it with the alliance team, is I think what's important is that they will be the maintainer. They will need to support customers in case there are some, I don't know, some things that need to get updated, some things that are broken. They will need to maintain it like going forward, and it's up to them. It's up to them to do that. If they want to have like, I don't know, maybe a badge that will say, okay, this is like partner certified or something like. But again, this is something that I want to put on hold for now.
Yep.
So with regard to action items, so are we okay to make a decision today to stop adding new templates and say, okay, we can open a merge request to say new templates. No, we stop adding new templates. Everything needs to be components, whether GitLab maintained or community. And so stop creating. But also we need to do like existing templates like SAST, for example, or code quality. They need to be cross-linked with the relative components. So for example, if there is like a security fix or a bug that needs to be fixed in a template, even the template maintainer say, oh, like we have this component also here, let's fix also the component until we eventually, deprecate and remove templates.
And this is the guarantee that we need to get. This is the guarantee that we need to get from other teams. Like basically, I think next week I'm going to have another sync with most stakeholders. And basically, what I would like that, I mean, you and I can go to those teams and ask them, which is nice. But I think we need to have something that, like a form of an OKR or something that will come like from top down, from their manager, from their leadership, because we need support. We cannot go and chase, 20, 30 different groups in GitLab and say, hey, can you now maintain this component? We need to
we already have code owners today that show basically for every specific template who owns that in our code owners on the GitLab project. So for example, this is where I picked, for example, if I created the SAST, I looked at the owners of the SAST template and I contacted the team and say, hey, since you own the SAST template, I'm making you maintainers of this new project. We could do something like that, and once they are maintained, of course, there's to be a more
that's nice, but like let's say someone needs to know that if they are doing something for templates, they need to do the same for components. And if we get this as a guarantee going forward, yes, we are going to do that, then we can probably move those templates to the gitlab.com/components and say it's verified. Until then, let's just put them underneath the GitLab org components, convert them. They are not certified yet, according to my book, although they are the same. But let's say that tomorrow someone is doing like a merge request for their templates. I'm not sure that they are going to update the components. Let's say tomorrow SAST now fix something. Or are they aware that they need to do it on
yes,
the components?
Exactly. So we need to.
I'm not sure. So we need to get. This is the guarantee that we need to get. Once we get this guarantee, then maybe we'll do like another review with them, making sure that we've converted those templates correctly, or maybe they can convert those templates, and then we can move them to the official gitlab.com/components, which then automatically we need to somehow say, okay, every components that move to that repository, to that group, will get like the GitLab verified, GitLab certified, GitLab-maintained badge. We need to have like a badge. And that's it. We know that we are going to support it going forward, and then it's up for them to maintain it, and then maybe deprecate even the template if they feel comfortable. If those teams will feel comfortable deprecating SaaS templates and tell their users, hey, go and now use or we recommend you to use components instead, then I would say it's probably up to them to communicate that with their customers.
Okay.
Given its timing also with the badges discussion, Dove, do we have design issues already available that are prioritized to start building out these badges? Because I'm guessing we should probably be thinking about doing this work in .8 or .9 or sometime very soon, because if we're moving those over, we need to have that probably in place so it looks seamless.
Yeah, I saw a design from Sanjay with that badge, so we could.
Okay, cool.
We can probably prioritize, but I think first of all we need to claim the gitlab.com/components. Okay, we didn't claim it yet. There is like an open issue, so we'll be able to claim that group. And as I mentioned, once we do that, every component that will move to that group will get like the verified template, and we'll only move components that we know that we can maintain. For instance, Fabio, if you have like a component that you say, okay, I've created it, I'm going to maintain it, okay, or we have like a group of engineers in GitLab that are going to maintain it going forward, that's okay. We can move them as long as we know that we have like an owner. There is someone that can go and then fix it. And it could be even like those helpers that we are saying, okay, there will be like a component that will publish or whatever. If we know that we can maintain it, then we'll move it. If not, I suggest we put it right now on the project that you've created, Fabio.
GitLab.
And for now, we can move it there. And then when we feel comfortable, when we have like all the support, then we'll move it to the.
So on this point, I want to. So if we are going to migrate, let's say, the templates to components, we need to kind of mimic what we are doing currently with templates. So if a template is maintained by static analysis team, they will be the maintainers of that new project. But there is a lot of templates today that by default are owned by the CI templates group. You know, we have like a handle. So it's like we have like a default owners. You know, if this is not owned by anyone, let's say like the Ruby template or Rust template, those are owned by the CI/CD template team group of people. And I think somehow we need to have some default maintainers, right? So if somebody creates a new project, it's by default maintained by these CI templates maintainers. Maybe you can make a different group or promote them to components maintainers, something like that. But then the scope is that this needs to be as just the default group to maybe kind of before we hand over to a specific team, more specific. But I'm wondering like whether there is like specific templates that are just so generic that are not owned by anyone, and then we need to kind of understand that, or should be owned by, I don't know, pipeline authoring.
I was going to say, should it be pipeline authoring for those that are
let's take an example.
General bucket?
Take an example of, for example, if we create now, I'm going to create a component project for helpers, for testing components, for releasing. Is pipeline authoring going to be the owner, since like we own the feature, so we own this test, this helpers?
Probably,
we should.
Probably, as long as there is like the right, I would say, transfer of knowledge. Like you created Fabio, and I don't know, tomorrow you'll be in a different team, or tomorrow you won't be in GitLab.
Yeah, of course.
So we need to make sure we don't own this knowledge by like just the person that create the component. We need to make sure that we share this with, with the team. And yes, I think we need to own it, but we need to be very careful about those templates that we need to convert, because, like, for instance, maybe there is like a template here that no one knows, don't have the knowledge. Maybe like, I don't know, is it like a technology that nobody is using and someone converted long time ago? Now we convert it to component, we own it.
Yes,
it could be a bit challenging, I would say, if someone will suddenly say, "Hey, I know there is a problem that we need to fix." But I think that those will be like very lot of templates that will fall into that bucket, that like we don't know what they are doing.
Like all the language specific templates, which are now fall under that tutorial kind of a type of components, but do we want to convert them? Because if eventually we're going to say, look, we are not going to ship CI templates anymore. If you need those, where do you take them? Or do we just discontinue them as well? But then we need to have some other ways for them to access this sort of tutorials or examples.
I think we need to look at those, I don't know, maybe case by case.
Yes.
When we convert them, to understand.
Yeah, without maybe going into maybe an idea for just throwing here. Maybe examples will be a different type of catalog resource. We could introduce eventually, ship, still have be available in the catalog, but like for example, Ruby pipelines, scaffolding pipelines will be sold, will be kind of marketed as examples, or like a pipeline scaffolding that you use different technique. You don't include them with inputs, but they might be available as I don't know, it could be available as copy paste or something like that into the editor. I'm not sure, because it don't feel like would be a nice experience to include, and then you have to go and edit largely the whatever has been included.
It feels like, for instance, like if I'm looking at Ruby and like if I'm looking at those languages, it feels that they belong to actually like a project template. So you'll have like a project template, and in that project template, you will also have like a GitLab CI YAML file that would be, for instance, that Ruby. So if you choose, like, I'm choosing a project template, a Ruby project, and then I'll have that that pipeline as an example. This is,
yes, that could
I
be.
think it's probably more suitable. I guess for the language specific, we can maybe think about it separately and not include it as a part of our conversion. And then we can think about whether we introduce a new type of component, or maybe we'll say, okay, if this is an example, let's just put it in the project as a project repository pipeline. And then maybe we can add it also to the catalog.
Yeah, I have a list in the docs for examples of language examples, and then you can, with the links directly.
I think eventually it needs to live in the catalog. One way or another, it needs to. I think it belongs to the catalog, either as an example or either as a part of a project template that has like that example inside it. So like as a user, I want to create, I want to set up a Ruby project. I'm selecting a Ruby project, and there is also an example of the pipeline. Great, that's what I need. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we can think about another item, like an example type of resource. So I think we need to defer the discussion about the language specific. I think it's also like, I think it's less important in terms of priority. Eventually we need to get there, but we could probably discuss this like at the end.
Okay.
So what else? So you had a point, Fabio, just reading through the docs, that I said that we need to convert them into you said, let's not move. You said move can be like a breaking chain. So I said, okay, let's just copy.
We can copy them, yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Let's just copy for now.
Yeah.
And not move. And regarding a placeholder project for contributors, if it's community contribution, I don't think we need to have like a placeholder project. Like anyone could create any project that they want and publish it to the catalog. Don't you think so?
Yes, but I guess this highlights maybe my lack of understanding on how we want contributors to contribute to GitLab maintained components.
To the GitLab maintained components.
Yeah, I don't know, is it part of the hackathon or the competition that we have later? So we want contributors. So we want to have first a list of components that we want to have, like GitLab maintained components, whether it will be from a list of existing CI templates that we want to convert, or maybe a new list of things that we want to have. Do we expect contributors to look at this list and say, oh, actually, I can create these components or whatever, either from converting the existing CI templates or from creating a brand new from scratch? How do I, contribute to this? So one idea will be you create a project called whatever Dust, for example, under your namespace, and you make you make all the changes. You ask GitLab member to review and make sure everything is fine, and then the successful contribution would look like, because then it looks like you're contributing to a project on your own namespace. So you're actually not contributing directly to GitLab project. Does this count as a contribution? Because maybe we can still review it and say, okay, this looks good, but then eventually a successful contribution is like a GitLab team member is going to fork that project into gitlab.com/components, now becomes official component maintained by GitLab, but it was initially contributed and implemented by a community contributor. So then we can fork it, and from that point on, we maintain it. We make sure once we fork it is following all the standards and everything. But how do we contribute? We can't count this, because I don't want that then all this kind of case don't count as a contribution if they implement in their own namespace. Otherwise, we need to have this kind of things where we create placeholder projects that they can fork and open merge requests to actually fill in with the README and whatever they would, all the information, and then they count as a contribution because they're contributing to a GitLab project.
So
and
let's separate like two cases. Let me know what actually works. Let's say that we have like a Terraform components that we converted, we created, we converted, and suddenly a community member is looking at that at the template and at the component, and they think that they can improve it. Can they just like open a merge request and update it, and someone like a maintainer will review it and either approve the merge request?
Yes, because you fork the project, the component project, you make the change and you submit a
okay, so
this
is one case. Let's say that there is already an existing template, yes, and anyone could go put fork and then like suggest like a merge request, and a maintainer, you or someone else, yes, will say, oh, that looks good, like thanks for it. So this is one type of contribution that they could do with this format. Regarding like a brand new component now is created and someone say, hey, GitLab, I've created this awesome component. Take it and now carry it forward. Like make sure that it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it will be very. I don't think it will be so common. And if it will, then maybe we'll review it. But I don't think it will be like so common, because I would say that probably most users will either do like the merge request that we just like said, or maybe they will create their own. And basically, if they are like known for their ability to create like, basically great components, then users will simply, they will start this component, they will search for that component, and they will just simply use it. If suddenly, I don't know, someone will feel and say, okay, this is like an awesome component, let's someone in GitLab say, okay, let's own it. Then I guess like we can either reach out to the contributor, say we are going to fork it now, we are going to carry it forward, and we are going to maintain it. I think this will probably be the case. If we'll see like, I don't know, like this motion of contributing new components that in GitLab will say, hey, we actually want that, we want to, then we can consider doing that. But I think for now, I don't see it as such a realistic
okay, but then so for GitLab maintained components, it looks like we will have to create those. So we have currently a goal, to
probably
populate the catalog with components.
The creation. Let's separate two things: creation versus certifying it. It is certified. Mm-hmm. Converting it or creating it, everyone could do it. Like someone now can go and look at the Dust, like someone from the community member can look at the Dust template and say, okay, we are converting it into component. Great. This is actually the easy task. Okay, it's long, but it's actually easy. Just look at the component and you just like convert it. Okay, making it certified, meaning that we own it, we patch it, we update it, we guarantee that it's always working. And I think this is the more hard part. Okay.
Yeah.
So converting, everyone can convert. Everyone can convert.
What I mean for converting it is actually not converted under my own namespace, my private, my own project is like converted under GitLab.com/components group.
Only GitLab team members, in my opinion.
So since we have a goal of populating the catalog with component projects, and especially we want to provide GitLab maintained component projects.
Wait, the goal certify those components, or just converting them and making sure users will use it? Because users could use it, okay?
But like, but it both are the same thing, right? So at the moment, like, we don't want to converting a template into component project means into a certified component project under /components group. That's what it means. Otherwise, it will be like I can convert a template into my own namespace that is not certified, that is not going to be used, that doesn't count really against GitLab conversion of templates.
If we certify that, then it means that we need to talk with other teams.
Yeah.
And making sure that they Fabio, you say, hey, yes, I can maintain it. Like, it's on me. Okay.
Yeah. But anything under components group is certified by default. Yes. So who do we want to populate this group? Do we want community contributors to help us?
They can
creating projects.
They can help us.
They cannot create projects. They cannot create projects in there. They can create projects that we can fork.
We can fork.
Yes.
I mean,
okay.
We'll fork. Like if we see, for instance, there is a hackathon, and there's a hackathon, Michael will say, "Hey, I've converted this. I don't know, 10 different components. Awesome. Dust, SAST, code quality, whatever. Then we can maybe look at them and say if it's good, and maybe we can ask the other team to review it. Makes sense. Then let's fork it and move it. But it means that they will need to maintain it going forward. And this is the commitment.
Of course. Yeah, but this is what I'm asking. If in case of a hackathon, we want to have community contributors to populate components
underneath their namespace. They do it underneath their namespace.
Underneath the namespace, we fork it, but we need to make sure those count as contribution. The forking counts as a contribution, not just a merge request, because there will not be merge request probably. They will probably create the merge request in there. So it's like a very different type of contribution.
We can still leverage
what
the
we
hackathon.
have today. Yes.
Right.
So
I think we can leverage the hackathon. It's like even if we want certify those components, okay, but those components would be valuable for our users. They can use it. I mean, they can still use it. Nobody is it's not certified, but if it is working and users are happy with that, great. Let them use it. Like I won't stop them. But certified means something very specific, and certified means that someone from GitLab took a component and placed it underneath GitLab.com/components. And it means that someone needs to maintain it going forward. That's what it means.
Okay, so we can make these list of steps for contributors that you can create a component under your namespace. You make sure all the best practices and everything is are done. You get somebody from GitLab to review, and maybe we have to provide a list of users, something.
But you're talking about like converting a template to a component. You're not talking about
it will be either converting, or you create your own awesome component that you want to ask GitLab if we want to maintain it. Let's say something is specific to our product, and it's like, how can we transfer ownership? How can we review and transfer ownership? And we need to make sure that this counts as a community contribution. We need to speak with community relations, make sure this counts as community. Because they might say, no, if there's no merge request on a GitLab owned project, it doesn't count as a community contribution. They might say that. Because today, all community contributions are like changes to an existing repository.
Yeah.
So
I can take that as an action item. I know we're over time. I'll take that as an action. I'm going to talk with Raymond in a little bit too. So I'll get his thoughts on whether that's something that would be counted during a hackathon or a competition.
Yeah, and we make sure there is like a clear steps on how to do that. Maybe even a link to a list of people that can ping which initially could be, I don't know, the CI templates maintainers plus a bunch of other people if we want to be involved. Yeah, but we need to make sure maybe he can review the steps, make sure they're clear from a contributor perspective.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
I have to run to a meeting, so I'm going to drop off. Thank you.
See you, Mark.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, besides like the hackathon and competition, I don't think that we'll see a lot of those type of contribution. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think we'll see those kind of contribution. We'll probably see more people that are like creating like something of their own, and they basically would like to, you know, advertise themselves. It's like as a trusted engineers, you know, in the open source community, that their components, like, you know, always work, or their configuration is one of the best, and some users will maybe subscribe to them, and every time they'll release something similar to when GitLab releasing something, those people will release something. There will always be those, you know, those contributors that everyone will follow, and there will be like some that, you know, will do like a one-off kind of thing. But it's yet to be seen. Like maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they'll create like different components that GitLab team members will actually say it makes sense, and we want to, you know, we want to keep it and we want to maintain it. So we'll see. By the way, regarding partners, do you think we'll need to create a subgroup, or we need to create a new group?
I'm not sure. So I think in certified, this probably we need to discuss with Sanjung as well. But the way some other, for example, for social media, the way it's done, like the certified badge, for example, is to certify that you are the real owner of that group, right? So let's say we have like a Terraform that wants to create a component project and it wants to be certified. We might not need to certify every project that they create, like every component project. Maybe we might be sufficient to say, let's verify that you are the owner of Terraform group. And inside there, you know, you create the component. We know you are responsible for those. So we certify the ownership and say, okay, we can, you know, guarantee this is actually maintained by Terraform organization. We don't need to worry about, you know, how many projects, because they might create like hundreds of projects, whatever, you know, especially with steps, they could be smaller units. So in that case, we can say verified means verified ownership. Like that, you know, we know that we are confirming that you are who you're saying you are. And maybe that can be sufficient. So that you can be partner certified by us certifying that, you know, you are the owner of that, and you don't need to move things under the namespace, because I think the namespace should not be kind of mixed with responsibility. This way we can say everything under components group is certified by GitLab. Even everything under GitLab org could be for internal purpose, but it's still certified, but it's kind of, you know, in GitLab internal. So certified might be like, yeah, ownership.
Okay. So maybe like the person that is like, so the person that is like publishing, like every time they publish, we say, okay, they are from, I don't know, AWS, Google, whatever, and every time they do that for us, it means that it's certified. You know, how to track it, and
we certify the top level group, for example.
Okay.
Because I can create like a group right now called AWS, for example, and I can claim to be the owner of that. But like, I will not be able. I should not be able to certify my AWS top level group.
Yeah.
Right. So there has to be some process there for the certification.
Okay. No, but I was wondering if we just like create like gitlab.com/ partner certified component, or underneath component we'll have like GitLab.com/components/partners, and then put everything. But you say it's not like we can certify the top level group, and everyone will they will basically do their own thing and will automatically certify that.
I would say so. Yeah, I think that the location should not.
And I think it's a technical thing. I think it's a technical. I think we'll be able to sort things out. It's more about the process that we want to move those components, because it's a bit different than community, and then obviously it will be reflected in the catalog. So in the catalog will be probably by default we'll probably we'll show you the top, I don't know, first of all only the certified, and then the partners, and then lower. And in the search and everything you always see first of all like GitLab-maintained, and then partner certified, and then the community. Something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
One last point. So about, this is my last point on the agenda. So this list of like define list of possible GitLab maintained components. So there's here like a list of things we would like to create. Who is going to create this? So we can define a list. I can contribute to this list in terms of what we will be good to have, but eventually we need to understand like who's going to create that. Maybe some certain things like the helpers can be done by us, of course. But what about other things we would like to see converted? Or
so I've created a different list. This list came from Michael on the competition. This is what he believes, or he can ask people to convert, which is great. Okay. I've created a separate list based on the top here, like the top 10 used templates. Okay. And I would say that if we want to like start certifying components, those are the components that we need to put our focus on. Now, if there is like a hackathon and a competition, they'll be able to certify, like, or at least not certified, first of all, convert other components. Great. We can do it. It will be in the catalog, and then maybe we can ask other team to certify that. Okay, and we probably need to define what does it mean certifying that. So say, hey, there is a list of components that got converted. Can you certify them, please? If they certify them, then they can move it. If you're asking me what we as a team or as an organization need to focus on, this will be the list, because this is based on usage. Okay. This is the most used, like with includes, just with includes. So I would focus on that list. And again, I'm not going to block anyone that would like to convert others. But if you're asking me about the priority, this should be the priority.
Okay. Okay, this is a good list to start with. Okay, and then I mean, again, as we tackle this list of top 12 templates, we need to have owners. Even as we start creating those, we need to have very specific owners. Okay.
Yes, we need each team that is responsible for those templates. They should know that once they're ready, once we're converting it, they need to be aware, okay, if I'm doing something on my templates, right now, templates is GA, components is beta, so obviously we cannot replace one with another. But if we are doing something for components, for templates, we need to do it for components. We need to port, all changes, we need to patch everything, so it won't be any configuration drift and anything like that.
Okay, sounds good.
I think we have a meeting next week, and in that meeting, this is what I want to ask. Basically, I want to ask that like each team will know that they will have like a task. on doing that. And maybe some teams will say, hey, we don't have time, we can do it only next quarter. So we'll move the conversion to the low, to the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
And if there are teams in GitLab that will say, hey, we can maintain it from now, then we'll automatically start converting it, because our goal is to make sure we are certifying all the components that we can.
Okay. So that will mean also, to make it clear for the people then owning those,
yes,
that you will have separate projects, like let's say the code quality, that the product manager, for example, is to monitor that project for new issues, for example, or like merge requests or stuff like that. Like they need to monitor
like any other project. It needs to be something that they need to maintain. And this is why I'm saying that the conversion and the certification are two different things, because if they will say we don't have time, we'll be able only to have time next quarter, like we can convert it, great. I mean, it will be great, but nobody will, like for GitLab, will look at it until, I don't know, next quarter, for instance, and then be able to certify it. But if there is, like, for instance, SaaS team will say, hey, we can do it now, let's convert it now, let's get the commitment from them, and then let's move it underneath the component project and then make it sure that it is certified and always works and always up to date,
I mean, but we could do it the same way I've done with code quality and other projects, where I created the project, and since the very first merge request, I've involved the team to review, and so at least they become maintainers.
But do they know, for instance, in code quality, let's say that they are doing something to their templates, they are adding, I don't know, another test to the template, another feature to the template, or fix a bug in the template. Do they know that they need to go to the component and do the same?
No, exactly. That's what we're capturing in the action items. But as we can actually, if we have spare resources, we can actually convert some of those, but make sure they are always maintaining and merging the changes if they don't have, for example, time to do this work. But then after they say, okay, for me, I'm going to release the version 1. From that point on, I'm handing over to you.
We can handhold them. We can guide them. We can even convert some for them. But as I mentioned, this is actually the easy task, the easiest task. It's much easier.
Yeah.
The hardest one is to certify.
Okay, I'm going to take the action items here on the reviewing the templates dev guides, because there's an issue specific for that, and make sure that I include these action items in that issue, so we can cross-link templates with their respective component project.
We should probably also communicate that to the CI/CD maintainers for template. I mean, I know there are like several engineers in GitLab that they are the maintainers of the templates, so it's probably best that they will know for this change.
Yeah, and they need to be fully familiar with components and best practices and everything, because now it's a new requirement. Yeah, so I'm going to review all that with dev guides.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
I think you stop the recording.